Hello and welcome to another Tiva Drive episode. And here we are in Etobicoke near Sherway in front of the Home Depot. A very unusual shooting location, but the reason we're at Home Depot because this is the natural home turf for the electric vehicle that we're testing this week. It is the largest electric vehicle that we ever tested, and here it is. It's 2025 Mercedes eSprinter. The Mercedes eSprinter, fully electric commercial van, has been around for a while, but it has just undergone some upgrades. The most important upgrade is the battery. Just like its Ford eTransit competitor, the battery sizes were increased on both. And as part of this video, you will see side-by-side comparison with the Ford eTransit, which is the least expensive commercial van available in our market for now. Soon enough, there's going to be an electric Ram van. Rivian will be coming out with hopefully selling their commercial van in Canada as well. But for now, basically your choices are down to the eSprinter and an eTransit. Of course, there's also Chevrolet Brightdrop, which has changed just its name. It used to be just called the Brightdrop division. Now it's Chevrolet Brightdrop, and it's being sold by Chevrolet dealers. There's only one dealer in Ontario that's authorized to sell the Brightdrop. That's Roy Foss in Woodbridge. We were trying to contact them because the pricing and specs are not even announced on the Chevrolet website for the Brightdrop. We did not hear back, so we'll post in the comments perhaps comparison with the Chevrolet Brightdrop specs and pricing. But for now, we're going to concentrate on just the Ford eTransit and this Mercedes eSprinter. So let's start the walk around. We'll start by the fact that this Mercedes, some of the specs to tell you about. So basically the base price of the vehicle is 97,000 Canadian. This car, as usual, as most of the press cars, is stuffed with the maximum amount of options. Almost $18,000 worth of options. One of those options are these beautiful LED lights. So you have the LED signature DRLs, and then you have the LED lights with automatic high beam assist. The halogen fog lamps are just halogen. They are not LEDs, but it's easy enough if you want to switch them for LED. It would be easy enough to do. So you have the front fog lamps, and then you have the rear fog lamps as well. We're not gonna pop the hood for you because there's nothing there. It's all just electronics, the electric motor, etc., etc. However, when you open it, and it's manual opening, of course, there's plenty of space, so there is space for them to put in a little frunk storage space, but for now there's nothing such. The other thing that you'll notice is the charge port. This is right here underneath the Mercedes logo, and you have the J1772 level 2 as well as the CCS level 3, and soon enough Mercedes will be joining the NACS Tesla plug, so you'll be able to charge at Tesla superchargers. There's one located right across here in Sherway. There's a Tesla supercharger right there. It's a pretty busy location here. So anyways, let's continue the walk around and show you. So these are unpainted, which kind of makes sense. In a commercial van, this should be all unpainted. So in case you get some scuffs, you won't be doing much damage to it. So it just makes sense that this is unpainted plastic here. The way you can tell, the car looks pretty much identical to the gas or diesel version of the Mercedes, just steel wheels here. Here you can see the electric sign on the side, telling you that this is an eSprinter, not a regular Sprinter. We'll do the interior review in a moment, and for now we'll just show you the cargo space, the cargo doors, etc. So we'll come back to the interior once we take you for a spin. So when we walk around, this is the maximum length, by the way. So this is a 170-inch wheelbase. So this is the longest version of the Mercedes and also the tallest. The Ford, the longest wheelbase in the Ford is 148 inches. So it's the wheelbase is shorter, but the Ford's overhang is longer. So the actual length of the cargo bed is almost identical. So in our side-by-side comparison, we'll mention the comparison of the interior space, the length of the cargo bed, as well as the height. But for now, let's take you inside the cargo area of the Mercedes eSprinter. By the way, here is another sign that this is an electric version of the Sprinter. It's called an eSprinter, just like the electric Transit is called eTransit. This car is plated in Georgia for some reason. They brought this Mercedes up from the States. So let's take you for a quick spin inside the car. So this is the cargo area. As you can see, it's quite substantial. There's nice handles for you to get in. There's nice skylights here. There's LED lighting all around here. There's a couple of skylights here. Nice LED lighting here in the ceiling as well on the side here. Another big skylight providing natural light here. And then finally the third skylight. So 3 skylights on the inside and another row of LED lighting. So at night it's brightly lit. We took a lot of pictures. We used this car for renovation up north at our lake house, transporting goods to a big party that we had this weekend, and finally today we might be going to IKEA to transport a full kitchen, maybe with some appliances, back for another renovation job we're doing. So it's perfect timing for us to get inside to actually have a use of the Mercedes. Here's the commercial door. By the way, some of the options in this car includes this separation, which is basically from the cab to the interior. By the way, the length of the floor is 14 feet. However, if you notice the pictures we posted on our page on Facebook, we were able to transport 16-foot planks from this angle all the way to the other side. We were able to transport some 16-foot planks of tongue and groove pine for our renovation. So it was again perfect vehicle. So again, one of the options. So the paneling, of course, it's an option. The protective paneling here is an option. The skylights, the LED lighting is an option, as is the cab separation. So the advantage of this cab separation is that the goods you're transporting will not invade into the cab, and also the heating of the cab, you can heat up it much faster than if it's open. Then you're heating the entire cargo area for nothing. It'll be much harder to heat up the cab area. The downside to it is if you're transporting goods such as like the 16-footers or slightly longer pieces of wood or something, then if you, with this separation missing, you could probably slide them in between the 2 seats. So it might be easier to transport some of the longer items without the separation. So it's an option. Another option is electrically assisted sliding side doors. So you notice that we just let the door go and it soft closed itself. So let's try it again. So it doesn't open electrically or close electrically. Here it just locks. But what it does is there you go. You noticed that the soft close just help the doors close, so you don't have to slam them. You can just let them go, and then they'll just soft close themselves. So that's again the electrical assistance for the sliding door is one of the options. So that's about it. Let's just point out the nice LED lights, which are an upgrade as well in the back. And I took a lot of pictures of those lights at night. It looks quite nice. So basically you have the LED lights here, LED signature lights, and you have rear fogs as well. So during some bad weather, so we started the test in very warm weather and we ended in very cold weather. So we got the best, consumption results in both warm weather and cold weather, which is kind of interesting. So front fog lamps and rear fog lamps. So that's about it for the walk around. And let's jump inside and show you the interior of the car and take you for a spin and talk about the results of our tests. Okay, so here we are charging this largest ever tested by us vehicle. It's a Mercedes eSprinter, electric Sprinter version, and it only comes in this maximum length and the high roof. So we started around 68%. and it's been going over 100 kilowatt speed, so it's not bad. The consumption in the city was around 20, on the highway was just over 30, so pretty decent consumption for this huge commercial van. So let's have a look now and see what the speed of charging is. We're at 102 kilowatts at 76%, so pretty good. Of course, it's a CCS charge port. As you can see, it's located in the front of the car, and so we'll do the complete review and comparison with Ford eTransit as well as Chevrolet Brightdrop electric commercial vans. So stay tuned and go to our channel on YouTube, youtube.com/TEV Association. We'll see you there. Okay, so here we are at Barrie Ford. Here they are, one of the largest Ford dealers in Ontario and one of the largest in Canada. And we came here with the 2024 Mercedes eSprinter to compare it with the Ford eTransit. So on the left, the eSprinter is the high roof long version, which is the only version you can get in an electric Sprinter now. Base price of 100 grand plus 20 grand worth of options. And on the right you have the 2023 version of the eTransit high roof long wheelbase. The new price was 80 grand, and it has a was it 70 kilowatt hour battery? This one, it has 70. So 23s had a 70 kilowatt hour battery, and the new 24s have 89 kilowatt hours battery. So for 24 you have much bigger battery. The price for this one, there's now a discount available on them, and Barrie Ford has a few of those electric transits available. So from 80 grand they are discounted down to 60 grand now with a smaller battery. If you want to order the new one with the bigger battery, it's basically 75 grand plus options, which is still 25 grand less than this Mercedes eSprinter. Let's walk to the back and compare the size of the cargo compartment, and then we can quickly show the interior from the inside. So lengthwise, we just compared, they're almost identical. Here we go. Double doors in the back. Yeah, so that's the back of the cars. Okay, so here are the two cars, the backs. Actually, we found that when we're standing, we're gonna go inside in a moment, but I found that the Ford is actually a couple of inches taller, because I don't have to, I'm not touching, my head is not touching. In the Mercedes it is almost, so it is a few inches taller, but it is half a foot shorter, so it's 13 and a half long cargo compartment versus 14 feet on the Mercedes. So let's get inside, show you the interior. Of course, this one is just a naked base car. You can option it out with paneling, separation, power outlets, etc. Here's the cockpit. You have the standard Ford user interface with a large screen, center screen. You have lane keeping. You don't have cruise control. Again, all these are, you can order with options. You have the Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, same large center screen as you get in the Lightning or the Mach-E. So it's more similar to the Lightning, obviously. So here's the cockpit, pretty standard. Let's go inside the Mercedes, which is basically now double the price. So 60 grand for this one after discount. Mind you, this is a 23 with a smaller battery versus 120 grand for this brand new Mercedes Sprinter. So here you have 70 kilowatt hours versus 120 kilowatt hours. So it's almost double the battery, but in the new eTransit you get 89 kilowatt hours. So it will still have a shorter range, but for driving around city it won't really matter. So here's the interior of the Mercedes, and you see it has 20 grand worth of options. So there's a separation from the cockpit, and there's a couple of skylights, nice lighting inside, and paneling on the side of this. There's the side door is electrically assisted. What that means is basically it's a soft close. It doesn't open electrically, but it has a soft close function. Okay, so that's about it. We'll take you for a spin in the Mercedes. Okay, so here we are inside a 2025 Mercedes eSprinter, fully electric commercial van in its tallest and longest version, which seems to be the only version available at Mercedes right now, according to the Mercedes website. The Ford comes in different lengths and low roof and high roof, so it gives you more options. Let's talk about the specs of this car. We did mention to you that the base price for this Mercedes is 97,000 Canadian. This particular press fleet vehicle is equipped with almost 18,000 worth of options. And the battery size, it's been recently increased. The battery size of this vehicle is 115. How can I help? Cancel. There we go. We cannot mention the name of this brand because automatically the verbal command system listens to and it thinks that you're giving it the command. So just like with all the other electric cars equipped with verbal commands, we cannot mention the brand name because the system will kick in. So anyways, 115 kilowatt hours of battery. It is much bigger than it was originally when this electric Sprinter was launched. So it was just increased to 115. How does it compare to the Ford eTransit? Ford did the same thing with their eTransit, and initially the car was equipped with a 70 kilowatt hour battery, which was 68 usable. And those are the ones, the samples that are available at various dealers. For up to 2023, it was only 68 usable kilowatt hours of battery, giving it a range of 200 kilometers. And as we all know, by the time you load up the car with 1.5 tons of goods, if you happen to be driving in the winter, you're only gonna get a fraction of that. So it wasn't a very practical commercial van for even city applications. It would have been a stretch. So what Ford did is, just like Mercedes, they put a bigger battery, and then for 2024 you have 89 kilowatt hours usable of the battery, which is still smaller than Mercedes, would justify some of the price difference. So you can now get 2023's brand new with the smaller battery with $20,000 discount. So originally the price was $80,000, discounted by 20. So now you can get them for $60,000 if you don't care about the range. If you want a brand new 2024 eTransit with a bigger battery, you'll be paying between $75,000 to $80,000, which is still about 20 grand cheaper than the Mercedes eSprinter. So what are the options on the interior? Here in this Mercedes, all the multifunction steering wheel is an upgrade. The Android Auto system here, MBUX system, is an upgrade. The seats are an upgrade. They are electrically adjusted seats with memory. All the adjustments are on the door panels here, as usual with all the Mercedes cars. The seats are heated. As is the steering wheel. You can either activate it via verbal commands, or there's a switch for the steering heat right to the left side. The wheel is adjusted manually, but there is a switch for steering heat right here on the left hand side. The car comes with one of the options is the cruise control. It is a standard cruise control, not adaptive cruise control. It does not have lane keep assist, which Ford has. By the way, the Ford screen is much bigger. It's about twice the size. When we do the side-by-side comparison, you'll see that the Ford has basically it's the screen from the F-150 Lightning. Here, just a small screen, but it's large enough for you to have all the information, navigation, and so on. It does have blind spot monitoring. So on the mirrors, it has a blind spot warning light, as well as you get audible signal that there's a car in your blind spot. Another option here is the digital mirror. So again, in the base Ford that you get for 60 grand, you don't have any mirror, because it makes sense. You cannot see out the back because there is no windows in the back of the car. So this car, and that again is an option, digital mirror here, which allows you to see equivalent of the rear view mirror, which is a good thing to have. It does have a rear camera, so that camera serves as a rear view mirror, but it also serves as a reverse camera. So let's put the car is already on, and it's, as you can see, it's showing 95%, 319 kilometers. So the official rating for the car is 330 kilometers at 100%. And we'll tell you about the results of our consumption on the car. The consumption, we have the consumption here again showing 29, but we'll tell you more about the results of our testing highway, city, and mixed side roads as well. So that's about it. So let's put it in reverse to show you what changes. So this stays your rear view mirror, but you have your reverse mirror here, which is using most likely the same camera, but it's just a different angle. You can see the edge of the car here, and so it's a good view. You just have to get used to it because you don't know the width of the car. So you have the two lines here for the wheels, and you have the other lines are the width of the car. So it kind of helps you visually, but you know, it's kind of confusing. It takes some getting used to this particular reverse view before you're comfortable parking this huge car, which always takes up 2 parking spots. So forget about parking in a regular parking spot. You need 2 lengths of parking spots to park this monster because that's how long it is. Okay, so let's put it now in drive. We'll keep it on the screen. The rest of the menus are basically very similar to the other Mercedes electric cars, so you won't spend any time going over it. You have this one, the digital screen, and then here you still have analog speedo, you have analog power meter, battery percentage. You only have this small computer screen in the middle here, which has different functions in it. We are always kept it on the consumption screen. The other thing to note in this Mercedes electric Sprinter is the different drive modes. So the drive mode here, you have the stop button is right here, and right underneath is your drive mode button. So you have your comfort, eco, and maximum range. So we've mostly driven in eco because maximum range limits the top speed. By the way, the top speed of this car, even in comfort, is only 120 kilometers per hour, which kind of makes sense. And it was fast enough. When we're driving on a highway, we're driving it basically maximum 110 to keep the consumption reasonable. So let's take you for a spin and tell you all about our consumption results. So we are in drive. So this is the typical Mercedes gear shifter. Your turn signals are here, and the controls for the wipers. By the way, you have automatic wipers. And you have automatic high beam assist as well, which is kind of nice. For your climate, you have all your controls here, which is kind of nice, and we can turn it on. You basically turn it on. This is your fan speed, this is your temperature control up and down, and it's all in, because this car is a US car, the outside temperature is in Fahrenheit and the inside temperature is in Fahrenheit as well, so you have to take a wild guess what it would be in Celsius. So you very simple controls, your temperature and your fan speed, and then the rest, some of the buttons are here. As we mentioned to you, steering heat button is there. That's all that you really need. The seat heating, and we did use because we were driving just above freezing temperatures in one of our test drives. So we were using both the seat heat, steering heat, and the climates, which obviously affected the consumption. We also had quite a bit of headwind. So we drove it in extreme conditions. All right, so we are in drive. By the way, there is shift paddles here, which control the regen strength. So the plus actually diminishes the regen, where the minus increases the regen. The standard regen is quite strong. If you don't like the regen, if you want just to have coasting, you have to press the plus twice, and you will see here the drive changing to D plus and then D plus plus. Okay, and then if you want to increase the range, the regen, you press the minus, and now you see D minus. It's in maximum regen. However, there is no one pedal driving. It's almost one pedal driving, but you still have to press the brake pedal to come to a full stop. Still impressive regen for such a heavy car that fully loaded will be well over 4 tons. by the way, because this is a commercial vehicle, it's eligible just like the Ford eTransit. It's eligible for $10,000 federal incentive. So we have already posted the link to the federal incentive for commercial vehicles, and it's double the passenger car. So you have $10,000 from the federal government if you acquire one of those commercial vehicles for your company. Okay, so let's take you for a spin. We'll do a bit of city streets, and we'll turn the climate on. We'll put it at 2 because it's getting kind of warm. We'll tell you about the results of our consumption. So when we started the test early this week, it was very warm. It was actually over 20 degrees. And then all of a sudden it turned cold, and a nasty northwesterly strong wind arrived. So then the second test was done in like only barely +1, +2 degrees. First of all, the first test, which was in the warm weather, going on the highway, we had the consumption of about 32 kilowatt hours per 100. We did not have to use any climate at that point. And they were keeping the speed on the highway just around 110. So again, we got 32 on the highway. We got as little as 22 kilowatt hours per 100 in the city. Mind you, of course, keep in mind that we did not load it up with any goods, so it was on an empty car. And this car is capable of carrying 1.6 tons, just like Ford eTransit, inside the car in the cargo compartment. So the city consumption was 22, highway was 32, and then side roads was basically around 28. That was on a warm day. Then we did one more trip coming back in very cold weather. And as I mentioned, we had to use the climate, we had to use steering heat, and we had to use the seat heating as well, initially at least. And at that point, the highway consumption was almost 40 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. So based on the battery size of 115, at that consumption, the highway consumption of 40, which again, it's cold weather, but empty car, remember, you'd still be able to do with an empty car just around 300 on the highway, which is not bad. In ideal conditions in the city, you might be able to do even as much as 500 kilometers based on those consumption results that we conducted. In warm weather, empty car, in ideal conditions without the climate, you might be able to do closer to 500 in the city. It's much better, a much bigger battery than the Ford. So the Ford, like we said in the previous version, only had 200 kilometer range. This is 330, and you can do better driving in the city. We'll see, of course, a lot of the commercial vehicles, just like the pickup now, some of the pickups have batteries of 180 like the Rivian or 200 like the Chevy. We just took a picture of a Chevy e-Silverado or Silverado EV, which was parked next to this car, which looks small in comparison with this car. Down the road, I think once the Rivian van arrives, it will be probably pricier than this or similar to the Mercedes, but offering a bigger battery. The 115, this is kind of the bottom line practical size of the battery for this size of a vehicle. The Ford one previously was unacceptably small, like 68 kilowatt hours for a huge commercial van is just not practical. Now with 89, it's borderline usable, I think, in my opinion. We'll try and take the Ford eTransit for a spin to try and gauge the consumption numbers. By the way, the Ford eTransit offers 266 horsepower, where this Mercedes offers only 200 horsepower rear-wheel drive. They're both rear-wheel drive. Mercedes is only 200. The Ford is a little bit more powerful at 266 horsepower. But as you will notice, merging onto the highway, because we're gonna try and hit the little piece of Gardner, the 200 horsepower with an empty car is plenty quick. Even if you use the eco mode, which we did most of the time on the highway to try and reduce the consumption, you have enough power to accelerate to keep up with the traffic. So all in all, it's a great commercial vehicle. It's the first time we ever tested. What we can mention while we stop at the light here, there's 3 storage compartments here. There's 1, there's 2. Oh, there we go. And this one has USB ports and it has wireless charger right here. Again, it's an option. And the third one, maybe you can show it down there. So 3 storage compartments. And then there is 4 cup holders here. 2 more, so that's 6, and then 2 more in the door, so 8 cup holders altogether. There is little hooks here on the back. You can see each one of them costs about $100. So there's a lot of coat hooks on the back, on the separation of the cabin, and they're actually part of the extra options. But this car has everything that you can possibly imagine. So we're just hoping, a lot of people commented on our pictures of this car, that they would love to see a camper van conversion of this. And there is actually a company in Detroit that converts these commercial vans into camper vans. And they agreed to invite us to their factory to demonstrate some of their commercial van, including electric commercial van conversions for camper vans. So that will be interesting to see. How practical would it be with the size of batteries that the Ford and Mercedes offer? It remains to be seen. Once we get the Chevy Brightdrop conversions and even Rivian commercial van conversions with even bigger batteries, those might become perhaps more practical, but we'll talk to them to see, and perhaps we'll get a chance to test the camper van version to see what kind of highway range you can get on it. So here we are, we're trying to enter the Gardner. By the way, when we drove it on the 400 using regular cruise control, because there is no adaptive cruise control here, the van felt very stable, even with strong side wind that we got during the warm spell. We had a strong southwesterlies coming from the side, and the car felt very solid because it's a heavy commercial vehicle. So we did not feel unsecure doing the highway speeds in it, even though it's so tall that you have standing room inside it, and it felt very stable on the highway doing the highway speeds. So here we are now in a regular comfort mode. I believe we are. Let's see, there's a little C. Yeah, we're in comfort mode, and so we'll try and no, we're in eco, so let's do comfort mode. Let's do comfort, and then we'll accelerate. There we go. We're at 100% power, and the acceleration is quite nice. Only 200 horsepower, remember, and this is a huge commercial vehicle. And you can accelerate to the highway speed. By the way, because you're sitting so high, it feels like you're driving much faster than you really are, because the front of the car, you're sitting up high and the hood is like down there. So it feels like you're driving much faster than you are, but you're not. You're just doing the highway speed. So acceleration is not a problem in comfort mode. We're gonna switch it to eco, okay, and see. Of course,
May
it's
I help you?
cancel.
I'm sorry. Can you say that again, please?
Cancel. Okay, so a lot of road noise, so even the system has trouble hearing you, because obviously this being a commercial van, a lot of road noise and tire noise, etc., etc. It's not a very well insulated car. But even in the eco mode, as you can see right in eco mode right now, by the way, the top speed again is only 120 kilometers per hour. But this is good enough for a commercial vehicle, right? It has enough power even in eco mode. So if you switch it to range mode, that would limit the top speed even further. So we're doing the highway speeds, and it seems to be still going fine. So the range mode will limit the speed, but will also limit the climate use and how it's being used. But we're still able to do the highway speed in range mode. So it's quite fine. So we're gonna head over to the curb lane, because we'll be turning away, leaving the highway. Again, all the blind spot aid is very useful. The digital mirror works fine, even though it's not my preference to have a digital mirror. If I have a choice from a regular mirror to a digital mirror, obviously I prefer the regular mirror because my eyes don't focus correctly on a computer screen that basically it is. But in the case of a commercial van, you have no choice because you cannot see out the back. So you have to have this digital mirror, which helps a lot in seeing what's happening behind you. So we're gonna head over to the curb lane again. We're gonna exit the highway. And so that's about it. If you have any questions about the testing results, look at our Facebook page, lots of pictures and comments and statistics there. If you have any comments or any questions about this vehicle and its comparison with the Ford, let us know. Again, we're gonna include the side-by-side comparison at a Ford dealership in Barrie as part of this video. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to comment. We'll try and answer your questions. And as usual, do not forget to press the subscribe button on our channel to be informed when the next review is coming. We have lots more reviews of both fully electric and plug-in hybrid cars, new cars, brand new cars coming to our channel. So make sure you stay tuned and subscribe. And as usual, we have to mention that this channel is sponsored by our real estate company, Condos and Castles Realty Inc. You can find us on the web, www.condosandcastles.com. So thank you for watching, and we'll see you at the next review.